Good afternoon, Mr. Nick.
Hello, hello. Sorry, I didn't catch your
I'm Krishanthi De Silva. This is for
What's your
my magazine. This magazine was IELTS magazine that was created by me to do with the permission for University of Cambridge. Then they're supposed to do listening, reading, writing, and speaking, academic and general knowledge one. I'm a language teacher because that's why I thought I could have to prepare the magazine. That magazine I could bring the ISSN. It's a government, Sri Lanka government, some magazine registration numbers.
Hold a second. What does IELTS stand for? Can you show me the cover again? And what does IELTS stand for?
International English Language Test System.
English Language Test
Systems.
Okay. Okay. And tell me a little bit more, because I didn't catch you. You've got to speak a little bit more slowly.
Yeah, I think I just want to help a bit, which means that IELTS means that if somebody wants to go abroad for any education purposes, they check your English knowledge. So she has made a kind of education guideline.
Oh, brilliant.
For the examination, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll give it to her. Okay.
And it's for academic and general readers. Is that right?
Magazine.
I like the bits across the top. I like the can you show me again? Can you show me again? The cover?
This is the magazine cover, first page, and this was the end of page because the IELTS mainly created by UK. The other country flower is a red rose because that's why I created the red rose. What are the things about why they were created about the red rose is the most important in a country. That was a thing. Then
brilliant.
Yeah, just first page, I could briefly describe about who's the publisher and editor.
Good.
Yeah, then describe what is the IELTS, what is magazine purpose, what are the things they included by.
Yes.
On the other hand, I could add some academias, some quote.
Okay.
It should academia's quote. It should be the Stephanie question. People acquiring a second language have the best chance to success through reading. Stephanie question. Who is the person? Is the academic English side. He's a doctor. That I could add about his quote. That was the most important point. That was the viewer. Then on the that the first time it's a first magazine. First month we describe we could added what are the alphabets and that English very basic things to be added about first page. Then after that how it's IELTS academias and general academias are working. It should be the International English Language Test System. So, they have both sides. That both side is included by general and academic. That both are included listening and speaking. That academic reading, academic writing, general reading, and a general writing. That was a thing I created by the chart to show it the student. Because most of the IELTS students who need to go abroad, then they could bring about IELTS mark. They could follow up our IELTS magazines. That's why we call about. Then another, what are the things, how to skimming and scanning, how read, writing, listening, those are the steps in there. Another thing, What are the speaking skill? How to develop about students to speaking skills. Then another writing, how to writing skills and reading, writing, listening for skills, how we could have to develop and how to do about our paper before the exam, how we could have to study it there. Then
So sort of practical stuff sort of thing.
yes,
How
that
to do
was
things.
practical.
Good, good, good.
Some academia's thoughts and how to do about forms and grammatically some exam questions included by and describe
Wow.
there the answers. Some my class students I give it there the questions past papers how they could write about their questions to answers and how to we can correct it there. Those are the steps we included it.
Sounds really useful. Sounds really useful.
Yeah, just I used to do about how most of the grammatical parts included because student need to do about actually most of the Sri Lankan and abroad we know about the English, but what are the grammatical things we forget because when we are in the school moment we could do about correctly, but very small point of view most of the students miss about IELTS movement. Then they could lose their marks. That's why we could give a more grammatical part and how other actually they included by most of the question and how to writing, listening, do about most of the thing about academic side. Then who's our English father we thought about William Shakespeare. He's a English author, English playwright, English poet, English actor, English dramatist. He was born on the 26th of April. It should be we call 564 in Stratford upon Avon. That was a places he was born in. We guess it. His father was a successful local businessman and his mother was the daughter of a landowner. That was a thing I include because so many questions they ask. Who was the father? Who's the person? How their biography? How we can specific skimming and scanning those of the things included by, and how Shakespeare is a widely ranked as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. Honor Shakespeare is a widely ranked as the greatest greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He wrote about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, the 2 long narrative poems, and a few other works, and of which the authorships of some uncertain. He is often called England native poet and the Bard of Avon. Simply the Bard. Bard of Avon is the most valuable, they are valuable awarded in the UK. He won at that moment.
I've
Thank
just
you,
learned
sir.
a lot about Shakespeare. I've just learned a lot about Shakespeare that I didn't know. Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much. I didn't know how many sonnets he'd written, and I didn't know what his birthday was. There should be a Shakespeare Day, shouldn't there, all around the world?
Just sir, how could I join for your? Where do you staying in Colombo?
No time at all. I'm not in Colombo. I'm down in Ambalagodo, down south, and then going down to Gaul. Yes, and then going to Gaul.
Are
And
there
then-
any programs for poetry, magazines writers? Are there any programs? I'd like to participate, sir.
I'll have a think about that, and I'll send them. There's one called Writing Today. We'll see if I can get a copy for you and send it down to. I'll have a think about that. I will ideas for magazines and get them sent down to you.
Yeah, he will send you soon. Are you all done? Mr. Jeep, can you hear?
I can hear you.
How long you have given to them for the practical?
Well, we said till 3, but I don't matter. You can
3
take
o'clock.
however, yeah, but they can take however long they like. No, I
Ah.
don't mind.
Okay, okay, okay.
The longer, the better. It means that they're getting more ideas.
Okay, they are done.
Ah, okay, brilliant.
So we have 2 groups, no?
Yeah, two teams.
I think first come, first serve basis. Yeah. Then I have to turn the camera there, no? Then I have to move the camera. That's why I'm thinking. If you put it, I can zoom in. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, you had fun.
Focus ka lang. Focus ka lang.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, we can do it. Okay, go. देखिए कैमरा को ऑन करेगा ना तो
So we're talking about Nelum Kuluna. It's a tower that was built by China and Sri Lanka's most dominating political faction.
Okay. What's
And
it called?
last year, against that political faction and against the government only, there were a series of protests held. However, the tower was completed in 2019 and it was opened in 2022. And in
Where
a
is
span
it?
of 3 months, they were able to gain a revenue of 286 million rupees with 500,000 guests. So, because of that, we decided to do the magazine piece on that, considering the controversialness of the tower.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
So yeah, so we we put some background about the tower, how
Yes.
tall it is, and
Yes.
how it was funded,
Yes.
Then we put the days it was open to the public,
Yeah.
when it was completed. And this is the main part of the tower, that it was built and it is the shape of Sri Lanka's most dominating faction, political faction. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the shape of a lotus flower.
Okay.
And the
Good.
things that you can, and the tower gained 286 million rupees, and but
Okay.
it's not fully open.
Okay.
There are only two things that you can go and visit in the tower. That is the observation deck and the revolving restaurant. But that also the bids are still going and there's no food being served. So it's purely a tourist destination.
Yeah.
And there are things not open. So that is
Okay.
what shocks the public about the tower having
Yes.
500,000 guests and 4,800 tourists. So
Wow.
then we spoke about the area, what is around that area.
Yeah.
There's universities, there's street food shops, museums, and stuff like that. And the tower is also able to gain a lot of attraction because this is the target group that is actually going to the tower. That is TikTokers, YouTubers, and social media influencers.
Okay. So you'll have
So-
people. You'll focus on some people along those lines. Is that right?
Will you be able to repeat that?
So you'll have profiles of people like that.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Good idea. Great idea.
So all of these people, since they visit the tower, that encourages the youth and the public to actually witness it.
Yes. Good. Good.
The benefits of the entire thing is, I mean, the tower it's a very convenient area. It's close to everything, which
Yes.
is why they gain a lot of attraction.
Yes.
And so this tower was mainly built through a loan taken from China, which is
Okay.
why it makes it controversial. And now,
Yeah, so you were listening to this very carefully. So we are focusing on what the youngsters and the people wants, right? So our
Yes.
magazine is focused on that. So we have targeted Colombo, the heart of
Yes.
Sri Lanka, the commercial city where a lot
Yeah.
of things are happening around, and youngsters are very much alert. So we are ready to survive on that topic. And
Yes.
everything, the money of people and the debt taken from China, all representing that target political team. And
Yes.
there's a question being raised. So having a lot of income within 1 year, 50,000 visitors and 4,800 tourists in, and 500 for each local and 2,000 for each tourist coming inside. So Tower was able to gain all revenue amid the crisis protests had against the government and full crisis, electricity crisis. So although it's not finally opened, it is not happening as it is promised, right? So he was explaining about hotel, restaurant, and bids are yet going on, but where it is. So what is happening with the money income, and there are a lot
Yeah.
of income. So we should consider that. We youngsters are alert on that. We are ready to raise questions. So we are on process. So something will change. We need a system change here. So to focus and lead the way. Okay. And the loans that Sri Lanka is yet paying the loans taken from China. So
Yeah.
there's a question. Even IMF agreement wants us to debt sustainability. So maybe they're backing because China's influence in Sri Lanka.
Yes. Yes.
And also because of the loans taken from China, there are problematic things in the politics, right? So
Okay.
even the politicians who are influenced than the party we are targeting and the others, they can't do anything, right? Because internationally there's a link in all around. And so everything should be considered. So, and when you come for the magazine part, we can see there are a lot of universities where there's proper good education side in Sri Lanka where the youngsters can focus and target on our aim. And there are entertainment things also. There are good hotels, and it is connected to the convenient area in Colombo. We're considering all what we need to make Sri Lanka a better place.
Yes.
Yeah, our only thing targeting this magazine focus in Colombo is just to bring in a lot for a system change. Thank you.
It sounds fantastic. It sounds like the sort of subject matter that you could split up into lots of ways of doing articles articles. So you could have all the things that I've asked, reviews of restaurants in the area.
Yes, and
You can-
also additionally, there's no big media is focusing on this, so
Yeah.
youngsters are
Yeah.
ready to deal it. Even
Yeah,
the protest which is going on the city, for all youngsters on alert.
Yeah, you can have profiles of youngsters who are doing this. You could use this information as the basis of lots of ideas. It's a really good idea. It's a really good idea. I can see you could make it into a special section for a special issue of the magazine. So well done. That's really good.
And it's from Natasha, Aisha, Hussain, and Nashella focusing on this.
So
Okay.
Natasha,
So we are the team 2, and
Aisha.
did it. We analyzed and we were searching all this within the time given. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
we are the
team.
She's
Okay,
Aisha,
and what's-
Hussain, Natasha and Aisha.
Okay. Sorry, who's the one on your my left hand side? On your right hand side?
Nashella Pereira.
Nasha.
Nashella.
Nash. Okay, yeah. Nashe, yourself, Hussein,
Yeah. Natasha.
Aisha.
Natasha.
Yeah. Okay. Great team. Great team.
Thank you.
Actually, I'll take a hold second. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. I'm going to take a photo so that I know who it was. Yay. Well done. Well done. So we have another team. Don't lose that.
Yeah, Sheha.
Well done.
Okay. Shall I introduce? And we got the phone? Listen with the phone.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, sir. We are team 1. There were originally 3 of us, but one had to leave due to an emergency. So
Okay.
I'm Sheha. I hope you remember. This is
Yes.
Minaza, Mini.
Minnie.
Okay. And Theruni, she left early. I hope you
Okay.
remember her. Okay.
I do. She
So-
goes to play Scrabble. She's the one who plays
The
Scrabble.
Scrabble teacher. Yes, sir. Okay. So we came up with the idea of a magazine called Wanderlust, Unleash Your Inner Traveler. That was the
Okay.
idea of our magazine. And
Yeah.
in our magazine, we included a review, a profile, a feature, a one practical suggestion, and a list. So these are the basic idea. So Minaza is going to introduce to you the article. We did a review, an article review. So she will introduce to you what it was,
Okay. Okay.
about.
Okay.
So for the review, I was thinking of reviewing the movie. This movie is called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
I know. Yeah, great idea.
Right. Yeah. So basically, it was filmed largely in Iceland, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very scenic, and you would want to. Yeah, you would want to explore most of it, and now it's like.
So you could do it as a location and talk about Iceland, and as well as him. That's a really good idea. Really good idea.
Yeah. So I thought about.
Yeah. Because one lesson I tell you is when you do a review, when you write a review, it's really important not just to say the book is good or the film is good. You want to have background information, which is to add to make it a story. Do you understand?
Yes, we were thinking of including a synopsis and like some reviews from movie critics, and then
Yes.
like maybe like photos from like the scenic photos from the movie,
Yes.
and then like must see locations from
Yes.
Iceland and like that.
Yeah, well done. That's very good. Okay, what's next?
And then I was thinking alternatively, we could also review the book Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. That would go well with the feature article we were planning to have. That would
Okay.
be Louvre in Paris.
Okay.
That was also an idea, but we thought we might want to add, like we would want to go around variety. We wanted to add more variety, so we thought of having this as well. So
And that's good. So the idea is to do an article about the Louvre in Paris and then introduce things like angels and demons, or is it demons and angels? Angels and demons, because it's set around there in Paris. It's a really good idea. Really good
yeah,
idea.
that was also an alternative idea.
Yeah, no, okay. And what's next? What's it?
Next is the profile. So our profile was, we thought rather than having a usual author or a usual traveler, we thought of picking someone from YouTube, since people are always into YouTube these days. So we picked this very famous YouTuber called Casey Neistat.
Called who?
Casey Neistat. So he's a very famous YouTuber. He's one
Who
of
is
the
he called?
biggest.
Sorry, what's he called?
Casey Neistat.
How do I spell that?
He's a vlogger.
How do I spell his name?
CASEY.
Yeah. Casey. Oh, okay, yeah.
Neistat. NEISTAT.
N-E-S-T.
STAT.
80. Casey Neistat. Okay,
Yeah.
good idea.
So Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat is a YouTuber. He's very famous for vlogging his travels around the world. He has about 12.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
The reason we have decided to portray him in our profile is because we think travelers really need to see his camera skills, his personality when introducing locations. It gives you this feeling of thrill, like you want to be there too. So
Okay.
his presentation skills are amazing. Further, he has shown review from Germany, Vietnam, Italy, which are very famous places for travelers. And
Yeah.
he has also given not only that, but for a traveler, the most important thing is an airline review, because people always want to travel in comfort. So we thought of
Yeah.
adding that too. So airline reviews have gained him millions of views over the years. That's one of his most iconic hits in his YouTube video. He's 41 years old, and basically the creator is based in New York City.
Okay.
His first video was from 2010, but we decided why not have a YouTuber who's experienced in our profile to show that
Okay.
he really has the skill.
Good. Well done. That sounds excellent. What's next?
Next is the feature that Minaza mentioned. So our
Yeah, the
feature,
Louvre.
contradicting to our review, which is
Yeah.
about Iceland, and our profile, which is about world travel, our
Yeah.
feature was about the Louvre in Paris. We
Yes.
decided to suggest some place that people should really go visit, understanding the fact that this is one of the most iconic places to visit. So the Louvre
Absolutely.
in Paris is famous for its history, which started in the late 12th century. Paintings like Mona Lisa, and then statues like Venus de Milo,
Venus
Winged Victory
Milo.
of Samothrace, and the story between Psyche and Cupid. So all these are very famous statues and paintings which have beautiful history. Unfortunately, we couldn't compile it in the short span of time. But we decided why not have people actually write this in a way that we can introduce it to people to actually come visit museums. Museums are not boring. There's so much history and so much interesting things to look into. So via a magazine, via a Fox magazine, Wanderlust, you can always look into the reality, the beauty of museums, beauty behind a picture.
Yeah.
And we want to talk
So
about that.
could you list other museums, do you think? Is that what you might do from around the world? In Colombo, for instance?
In Colombo, we have the Colombo Museum itself, no? That's
Yeah,
a
yeah. I know it. I know it.
Very iconic place. And I actually, living for 21 years in Sri Lanka, I haven't been to the Museum of Sri Lanka. Yes, that's very shocking.
That is very shocking. I've only been to
I
Colombo.
missed my opportunity in grade 5
For about-
when we were offered to go for a trip from the school. I missed it because I was not well. I have to go next week. I will book a ticket immediately and
I
go.
think you have to book a ticket immediately if you're going to write about it.
Immediately. I realize the loss I'm
but,
facing.
but I do love the idea. I love the idea of a feature about the Louvre, and then linking it to maybe a list of other museums that you would like to visit, or we should visit around the world. I think that's a really good idea.
Okay. And fourth is the practical suggestion. The practical
Yes.
suggestion we suggested Dubai desert safaris. So now we've visited what is this? The Iceland. We've visited around the world. We've gone
Yeah.
to a specific location, the museum. Now something contradicting to all three was a
Yeah.
desert safari. We're
Okay.
giving our readers a wide opportunity, a wide range of locations that they could go to. It's not limited to one place, not
Are you-
one theme, but entire wide range of places. So in our practical suggestion, Theruni suggested the Dubai desert safaris. So we thought of including the safaris mostly consist of sandy deserts along with gravel-filled deserts around the southern part of UAE. Then there is, it starts from boarding into a 4x4 wheel drive. And this
Yes.
starts in the afternoon, so you can experience the wonderful sunsets in Dubai. And then there are camel rides, everyone loves those. And then sunsets, again, as I said, sandboarding, you've never heard of that, but that's such a cool term. And you could also get henna design. So all this is a mood, a celebration completely different to what we just started out with. We're introducing our readers to a new field. So we thought of including the fact that you can experience the culture of Dubai just with this one specific event. You can see the traditional dancing, the fire dancers of the UAE's culture, and then Arabic tunes at the campsite. And it is definitely, as Theruni suggested, via her experience, an unforgettable experience.
Well, has she
So-
been to the Dubai?
Yes, she
desert?
has been. She's the one who suggested it for us.
Wow, nice. But you could also, I'm thinking about what you might also suggest is the sort of clothes and equipment you could take.
So that is our fifth article.
Yeah, yeah. Well, perhaps you've already got that idea.
Yeah, we've already got that down.
Sorry.
So this is the fifth article. So we finished our review, we finished our profile, we
Yeah.
finished our feature,
Yeah.
finished our practical suggestion. Our fifth is a list. So we've actually have a heading for this article. We decided to call it 10 things travelers totally need is the
Yeah.
article's name. And
Yeah.
under this article, we've decided to include 10 items that all travelers must definitely have as they travel. So we've included sunscreen because even from the heat of Hawaii to Finnegan's Cave in Scotland, sunscreen is an absolute necessity.
You need mosquito spray.
Mosquito spray is also there in our first aid kit, mosquito repellent.
Go on, sorry, you carry on. What other one?
Second, we have power banks. Power banks are very important because today's world runs on technology. Third, we have camera because what is a trip without a camera? You have to have the evidence to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
back and prove you've been there. And then shoes.
Will a-
Shoes are
will
very
a- will a-
important. People,
Will a phone do? Will a phone do as a camera?
yes, the phone camera. And number 4 is shoes because you have to know which country you're going to and plan ahead and decide to wear the right shoes. Because
Yeah.
wearing slippers in Sri Lanka, you're going to burn yourself.
I've got a pair of slippers to go to Sri Lanka. Are you there?
Torch because no matter what country you go to, you need to have a torch by your side, especially Sri Lanka with the power cut. So, and then number 6 was appropriate clothing. So any country you go to, from Iceland to Dubai, you have to know the appropriate clothing to wear. So that's what
Yes.
we're suggesting our readers to look into. So if
Yes.
you're going to cool countries, maybe sweaters,
Yes.
thick jackets. If you're going to hot countries like Dubai, maybe light clothing, lighter color, loose fitting, so you don't sweat, things like that.
But
Number
presumably,
7.
presumably under number 6, you need to consider covering your arms and legs in some cultures
Yes.
or things like that, and cover heads in some cultures even. So
Absolutely.
it's important to have the cultural significance of clothing.
Mm.
Okay,
And,
go on then. Number 8.
Number
seven?
Number 7 is a first aid kit. Our first aid kit includes gauze, antiseptic wipes, medical tape, mosquito repellent, uh, cold compressors, hot compressors, and things that you need in case of a minor sprain, if you trip, something to wipe and apply, and then sanitary measures. So all that includes in our first aid kit.
And what about something to be bitten by a snake?
To be bitten by a snake. We also included numbers to call for emergency services.
Good idea. Good idea. Go on. At number 8.
Okay, number 8 is cash in hand. You have to have cash in hand no matter where you travel. Cards won't work. Cash in hand is very important because there's these small pit stops and tiny roadside stalls which you have these authentic food items and maybe these pretty souvenirs that are handmade. There you can't have cards. There you need cash to buy those little items. So we've included that as a main necessity. Number 9 is a portable charger.
Okay, yeah.
Portable chargers are very important because in case you bring your laptops for work purposes or any other reasons, you do need your portable charger. Better if you have 2 because you need it that much. Number 10 is very, very important. It's your passport. People tend to forget. We put that at the very end so that people know no matter where you go, please carry your passport or you'll be meeting the police of that country. Yeah,
Well,
and that's it.
Quite often when you do lists, you do it from the least important to the most important. So you go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Does that make sense? And so which is the most important of your travel items?
I think your passport because
Yeah,
you
I think
can't
your
get any.
passport. I think your passport too. I couldn't agree more. Well, that's a very interesting list, and I'm sure you could do it in any number of ways. That would be very entertaining. And you could ask readers for their own suggestions, which you could do on social media, and then you include it into the list. It's you can use social media for all these features to get more, as you are with Casey Neistat, is he called Neistat? With all those sort of things. These days, one of the advantages of social media is you can get, comments from people and ideas from people. And it means that you can act as a hub for all this information. So you can act as a hub for social media. And that's incredibly valuable. And that's what my magazine, we're trying to do increasingly, is to act as a hub. So we scratch the surface and find out what is beneath the surface to all people like Casey Neistat and do profiles of them and things like that. So yes, I like it a lot. Well done. You two teams have come up with a different approach. I see the other idea about the tower as being really interesting, and there are great opportunities to use the tower as a way of using all these different types of article. And yours is a much broader international global idea, which both win Wonderlust, and they will be in completely different magazines between the two teams. And I like that a lot. So congratulations, well done. And thank you for doing it. Yes. And the other teams, both teams, a big clap for both teams. Now, I don't know, is Milroy there?
Mr. Nick, you forgot to take a picture of them.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I didn't of them. I did of the other group. We'll have to have. So you two there. Good point. Now I know you've only got a few minutes before you leave, so I'll do this very quickly in case you haven't. When it comes to interviewing, so I'm thinking about the different types of article that you're doing. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yes.
Okay. These are some tips, okay? So perhaps Milroy can write them down, that he knows them already, or you can all write them down. When you're interviewing people, because some of these things relate to what you're doing in your projects, your articles. When you're interviewing people, when you're talking to them, it's really important not to mention yourself, okay? So when you're interviewing somebody, don't say, oh, I've done this or I've done that. It's all about the person you're interviewing, okay? And that's true of all journalism, okay? So think to yourself, I must never mention myself. Always have a list of questions, but not too many, okay? So maybe half a dozen, 4 or 5, because those questions will answer the most important questions and they'll probably lead to other ones, okay? Do lots of research so you know the person, lots of research. And also a big tip is when you leave and you end the question, and you end the interview, ask a question, because very often you get the best answer after the interview has ended. And people are, and the person who's being interviewed doesn't realize they're still being interviewed. When it comes to a list, what did I from here? Okay. That was it. It was the interviewing which is really important. There
Yes,
you go.
I have to ask questions. Are your writings having a reach in Germany?
Okay. So you're writing.
Yeah, you're writing magazines and everything. Is it having a reach in Germany?
No, I mean, it does. We have somebody who writes from Germany. So yes, we'll take articles from anywhere in the world. So we have people who contribute from Germany, Australia, Japan, Sweden, United States, Canada, not from South America. We'd love to have some South America. Actually, that's not true. We had somebody from Chile once. So yeah, and that's part of the whole thing of social media, is you don't know where people live. And so you can get in touch with people all around the world. It's fantastic.
So what is your suggestion for young journalists of Sri Lanka? So what is your suggestions that you can give for your examination on Sri Lankan situation?
So you need to talk a bit louder because I can't quite get you there.
So we young journalists need any ideas or any understanding from your point of view about the current and the past situation of Sri Lanka currently?
It's interesting, your situation. I didn't realize you had as many magazines as you do. I thought you wouldn't, and I wish I'd been able to see some in the supermarkets. I'm told that your newspapers all newspapers and magazines are having to cut down the number of pages because of print and other things. I thought the sections, the lots and lots of news. So you have lots of news and you cover that extremely well. And so as young journalists, I think probably the focus should be on news writing. That's what I would do, because there is lots of news there and political issues are very important to Sri Lankans. And I've picked that up around the country. And yeah, that's what I would, the papers are brilliant and they have lots of news stories and they really engage the readers. So that's where I would get skills, is get skills at writing news. So that means keeping things short. Well, if it's 10 to 4, so it's nearly time for you to end your, it is time for you to end your class. And if that's the case, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I hope a little bit of what I've said is of value to you. And I look forward to it. Now, one thing I was going to suggest, actually, is that you each and the others maybe write a short of one of those stories or one of those ideas and write it and send it to me. And I can then give you some comments about it. So I was thinking of asking you, and I leave it to Milroy as to whether this is a good idea or not, is to ask you to write something between 300 and 500 words, so quite short, to introduce a feature or whatever it is of one of these ideas you had that, to do with whatever it is, whether it's the location of your tower, whether it's a profile of a young person who is interested in the tower, or maybe even other towers around the world and things like that, to really make it broaden the subject matter. And then with the other team to do a review or to do a profile or to do the story of the Louvre, but do it in about 300 to 500 words. And I leave it up to you. If you're interested, and so I can comment about your writing and maybe encourage you, then just give it to Milroy and I'm sure he can pass it on to me. And maybe do it in a week.
I would like to. And what about you? Ready to write? You have to- Isa, she's asking.
Does it have to be on the same topic?
No, it
as-
can be any topic, any
Any
topic, but
topic.
I don't want it to be too long. I want it between about 300 and 500 words. It doesn't have to be the whole story. It might be that it's the first half of the story or something like that. But ideally between 300 and 500 words. It'll very quickly show me the quality of your writing, and it'll give me an opportunity to maybe give you some thoughts and of what you're writing, because you can't write too much, and any opportunity you have to listen to what people have to say is good. It's a bit frightening sending work to other people and asking them to comment, but it's well worth, you're going to have to do this many times in your career, many times. So, and you will get people refusing it, but I'm not going to refuse it. I'm just going to comment on what I think of it and maybe pass on some tips. Is that okay? Well, if we're done, unless Milroy wants to have a word, that has been an absolute pleasure. And I've learned lots and lots and lots about writing and about everything. So thank you very, very much, Milroy, and all of you who were at the start and at the end.
Right.
Thank you for my T-shirt. Thank you for my T-shirt. Sorry, I can't hear you, Hussein. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I've never witnessed a lecturer like you who is very difficult to understand, but you are into the track and I can understand you in your own way. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Milroy, for setting this up. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so sorry I wasn't able to come and visit you. Maybe next time I'm in Sri Lanka, which hopefully will be this time next year, because I love your country so much. And
I believe in future we are going to meet.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to meet, and take great care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nick. Hoping to see you next year, right?
Yeah, okay, take care of yourselves.
And I'll send you the assignment once they're done.
Yeah, do please. And
Okay.
yeah, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.